Hey guys, welcome back. We're just heading over to see the Mini, hopefully get some work done and find out on the progress. Alright, so admittedly it's a little bit loud in there. We got the heating on and it's like almost like a fire canister thing, and it's just too loud to talk and film. So we'll talk and drive, or I'll drive and try and look at the camera as little as possible. The progress has been made, which is properly exciting. Where do we start? So the clutch is in. It's up and it's bled and there's pressure there and it works. It actually works. I don't know why I'm acting so surprised. You know, they're very good at what they do, this garage, and I don't know, just in my mind I still can't comprehend the K20 being in a Mini. So the way that they've done it is to use the standard piece, or the standard part of the clutch line on the Honda. And on a Mini, if you know a Mini, it has a rubber section or a flexi section, and essentially they've just recut the grooves and joined them together there, tap and die, and that's worked perfectly. So to actually have the clutch up and running, along with the brakes, because obviously the Mini runs off the same pump with the brakes and the clutch, and to have all that working is a big step forward. We then moved on to the gear cables. The gear cables are something that I tried to do at home, but with my limited knowledge and resources, it just wasn't something that I wanted to take on. So what they've done, or what they've been able to do, is make almost like a one-off gear selector, or gear selector cable. So it's half Mini and half Honda, with some adjustability added in as well. So the OEM Mini shifter, part of the shifter cables that connect to the bottom of that shifter are obviously the Mini, which are then linked into an adjuster, and then out the other side of the adjuster comes the Honda. Obviously they've got to be the Honda to connect to the gearbox itself. So another big tick on the box for the build, and it works really well. The exhaust is essentially nearing completion, but in this video I can't show you it because it's not there. It's been measured, cut, welded, measured, cut, welded, and all in the same place, but it keeps getting adjusted. So it's away again, get it adjusted, and we'll be back in the next video. Kind of hoping that we're going to be firing it up, but more to come on that in a minute. The radiator is almost going to be a copy of a Honda one, or an EP3 one, but a recreation in aluminium, with the filler cap moved and the inlet and outlet moved to suit the Mini and to give us enough room. Again, custom made from a chap that is local to us, and that should be arriving on Monday, so we can get all that plumbed in. The drive shafts, somebody's messaged me, and I'm really sorry but I don't have your name with me right now, about the drive shafts. I'm obviously using EP3 inner shafts for the gearbox side of it, and they fit fine, but the outer hubs, or the outer CVs, to fit through the Mini hub, the EP3 ones are too big. So that leaves you with a couple of options. You can look at DC2 outers or EK9 outers. Mini outers are not an option because they're even smaller, but the actual shaft that goes through the hub fits perfectly off a DC5, off a DC2, and they're really the two options that we've got. So this is where I'm getting confused with my build. I've seen a guy in America that's done this to his Mini and has used DC2 outers. I've connected a DC2 outer to my driver's side and it's too short. I connected a DC2 outer to a tunnel. I connected a DC2 outer to my passenger side and it was too long. So I got a custom one made and I measured it on my drive and it's wrong. So I've wasted some money there. So the drive shafts are still a work in progress. Now, what's going to change this again is the engine mounts will change. They work fine, but I'm not overly happy with them. I'd rather them be a bit sturdier, and there's some changes to make to those. So the plan is, the guys at Slideways have drawn an engine mount for the top engine mount, and it's been redesigned and it's currently being made. And for the gearbox side, we're gonna use the OEM Mini gearbox mount. It fits in exactly the same place, it's just a little bit higher up. So we've got some work to change the mount that I had custom made a couple of months back, but relatively easy considering the other jobs. So the drive shafts are going to change again, and I think once the engine is mounted in place and it's done properly, not done properly, once it's mounted in place and that's been finalised, we'll look at the drive shafts again, and I'll do a whole video on who I've used, where I've gone and why. And finally, that leads me on to the wiring. The wiring was pretty much the whole purpose of the Mini going into the garage, because wires scare the heck out of me and I do not understand one part of how to wire a car. So I bought a K-Swap universal wiring harness, and that is being used and it works quite well and it tidies everything up. But then we're also going to wire all that into the dials, so that the AML works and all the pressure switches work, ABS works, everything is going to work as it should. And has come up with an ingenious idea and is working on that right now. So next week's video is going to be a bit more in-depth and a bit more showing you about the car instead of me talking to you from my other car. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this update or found it interesting, and yeah, I'll see you next week and we'll actually do some work, and fingers crossed we're going to be able to fire this thing up.